I do it right that time?
I didn't hear your point.
No, I was 5.
You stopped counting, and this steak is really good, dude.
No, but I'm supposed to. Professionally, they told me you stop at 5, so I did a count of 5.
No. 5 is you go 5, then you go 4, 4, 3, 2, 1 is
hand motions, but I can't do that if we're hiding.
I'm not hiding.
I'm trying to be professional, people. Okay. And then instead of doing like a full countdown, because that's so like it gets too long.
You're supposed to hold up your hand with the other 2 numerals. What is
Welcome to Aluminum Spork.
Not a spork, not a spork.
Let's pretend.
Come to talk from ancient cities underground.
This isn't like, a literal song.
To UFOs that float around. Giants of the past, prophetic signs that last, archaeological fights, and strange unexplained lights. Aluminum Spork, where truth and legends intertwine. From pyramids to guidestones blown, to secrets carved in ancient stone. We're diving deep into the unknown. Hancock's theories we explore, while Congress opens UFO doors. From Göbekli Tepe's rise to jellyfish in darkened skies, mound builders of old.
Seriously, this is a really good steak.
Stories left untold, hidden history's core. We're questioning it all. Aluminum Spork.
Imagine a sport. That's the closest we got.
History, from ancient text to modern day, we'll light up truth's hidden way. Join us as we investigate, where conspiracy meets reality, and history holds its secrets tight. Aluminum Spork tonight.
I have to tell you, this is a really good intro.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Gives people a time to get in here. Has a little jam to it. And we are here. We are live. It is Saturday night and the world is changing, everybody. Hello, everybody. It's Scott with Sporking News Podcast. This is Aluminum Spork. AI doesn't trust me. That's why they will not create a spork. It's the truth. This is
It's
the
actual.
most. Yeah. Damn it.
Everything is satisfactual.
Yep. And I forgot what Mad called it. I am the most important. This is the most important utensil
themed. Themed. Okay.
Right? Is it
I thought
themed?
it was utensil adjacent, but no.
No. It was a utensil themed channel on Earth.
Except your channel's not actually themed around the spork. It's themed around the idea that you were supposed to spork podcast and sports and whatever else we were going to do.
Yeah, it was
metaphor for the channel. It's supposed to be, a channel that's profitable, and it's not, and that's represented through a spork not being a spork. See, metaphors.
Yeah, okay. So it was going to be sports and dork stuff, so sport, but I ended up just doing dork stuff for the longest time, which I love. And I still get an urge to go back and talk about some of the crazy stuff going on with Hollywood. So I may start doing that again. So now it's just a smorgasbord. So it's everything in one, like a spork. It's a spoon. It's a fork. Some have knives on them on the edge. Watch your mouth.
No, they're blades. The ones
I really
into it. So
exactly, Grant. No, I actually feel like this should be more like a charcuterie platter.
Okay. Okay, a little flavor everywhere.
Easy. Makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. What do you say? We don't need the artists no more. That's why they're all upset over AI. Yeah, AI's not there yet, but Zeus, a spear, Poseidon, a trident, fork, Hades, the real military fork, 5 points. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You go from a spear to 3 to 5. Yeah, you're right about that. And
it's like utensils.
There you go. There you go. Slender Dad. He's slender.
And actually, technically, they're not. They're called splines or spines.
Splines?
Blades.
What's up, Slender?
Time.
Happy birthday. How old are you?
Oh, that's right. Times.
I am 48.
48.
Oh, I'm sorry, 49. No, I'm 49.
I was going to say, I thought you had said something about it being your last birthday before the
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, I'm 49. I almost forgot. Yep. That is I. Sorry, I got to change the background on this one so I can flip around easier. There we go. Yeah. Where is your crazy cousin? I think Gap is talking about someone we all know. First to know, my pronouns are so thank you. Yep. That's my cousin, Edwin. Edwin spelled EDCO. Don't ever say anything different than that. It's Edwin. Very sensitive.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Then not many people know. Not many people know.
I used to like try to get Edco on my
someone on the
You
show.
keep saying a name wrong.
Yeah, it's Edwin, not Edco.
Why is it spelled Edco?
What? It's spelled EDCO.
Well, no, it's
Edwin.
okay. The DCO is silent.
Yeah, everyone knows that, and you add the W. I mean, it's Edwin.
What?
And don't say it wrong, because then you're a racist.
Smoking fact.
That is
except for guess what? Trump said that it's just male and female bitches.
I was going to say, is it specifically racist or just bigoted?
No, it's bigoted more.
It's not bigoted anymore.
No. She also identifies as Italian. So
yeah, I don't even think we could use she because the pronouns are sh or something. Like that. I don't know.
There's male and female in the United States, dude.
Dude, I'm just saying. Edwin is Edwin.
I don't agree with the views espoused by Culture Casino in this.
Yeah, Edwin is my CFO. Really good with money.
Yeah, you made that very clear in our chat where you were like just telling us all the wonderful things about Neil Gaiman and Roman Polanski and just to be worshipped.
I just said I don't think they're apt comparisons based on what we were discussing.
Is a little, I mean, no matter what, they both. I think Polanski. To me, if we're going to talk about it, and we'll throw it out real quick, he is a terrible offender. They were young. Yeah. They were under like 16. I want to say he married a 15-year-old, didn't he, in France or something like that? And Neil Gaiman,
the girl in the States was 13. So
the girl in the States was 13. The girl from the Filipinos was 15.
What?
That's just terrible. Oh, Keith, how you been, man? Good to see you. Keith Howard's a good dude. Gap is always here. Thank you, Gap. We also have Mad, who will be here soon enough. Mad Cheesemo. He had to Oscar Mayer Wiener or something like that. Red Wagon.
He was drying off.
Yeah. Wade. I always screw this up. Wade Nation gaming clips. Dude, one word throws me off.
Just 2 words.
Wait. Highlight Mad Cheesemo's comment.
The bottom one?
Highlight that comment.
What is that one? I hate doing this, and it may not happen again, but I agree with, oh my God, Slender Dad.
Woo! I win.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I think it's great. Much like Elon, I should probably share that entire private message with everybody so they know what you're agreeing with.
I never say anything that I wouldn't say in public, so you are welcome to share it.
I'm gonna Asmongold this shit. Watch out.
Wait a minute. When was Az's birthday? Yesterday? See, my birthday was Wednesday, so I'm the 22nd. How old is Az? I thought he was way younger than me.
No, it was his 50th.
Oh, really? Oh, he's older than me. Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. Good for him. Good for him.
What we need here is
when you throw out compliments, they always sound like insults. I don't know.
No. And I want to say to everybody tonight, happy Australia Day or whatever, because that's such a big deal. Everyone should know that today is Australia Day, where they found, was it independence?
Now, what did you do?
Yeah, it's a terrible thing that we became a nation without having to kill hundreds of thousands of our own citizens to do it.
Yeah, you were all put there. You were just criminals.
I was gonna say, wasn't it a penal colony? You
Yeah,
killed
like-
hundreds of thousands of everybody else's citizens.
It
so
started,
much
that's what
so
it
that they
started
got
off
rid
as.
of you.
Yes, I don't think you understand the idea
He
of,
said
of
penal.
immigration. You know,
Yeah,
once it was founded as a colony, anyone could come over, and that's what happened.
and we didn't kill our citizens. They weren't
No.
citizens yet.
No, we took care of the.
You got me on a
we-
technicality. They were British citizens. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. We took care of that problem.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna have to do that again too. Have you
It
noticed
doesn't
that
matter
they're
that they
just-
were born in your country.
Britain culture. Britain's scary right now.
Yeah, I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. Hey, Mad,
I'm
why
gonna
don't you
make-
just
I'm-
stop?
I'm
writing?
gonna actually make fun about it in my show tomorrow. My post monologue commercial is gonna be making fun of the British situation.
Hey, what's this about you not checking your emails? Culture.
In a timely manner.
Well, that's true.
Hmm.
I actually been finding a lot of email that I should have gotten a long time ago in the spam folder.
Oh, that
Okay.
always sucks.
Yeah.
The CGH wants you to know that Australia isn't real.
Yeah, it is.
Most flat earthers don't think it is, so I get that.
What's Pommy S right, Grant?
No, Pommy. That's what a Pommy is. Someone from England. We call them Pommies, Poms, because they smell.
Why is that?
I haven't seen Gap After Dark in a long time.
Oh,
You
Gap's
see, look,
been
right there.
hanging
Look
out in
in the
our
chat.
chat in a long time. Gap's great.
No, I
Thank
know.
you, Gap.
I know.
It's nice,
Yeah.
right? And you've been on so much lately. It feels like old times. I like having you back, man. It's good to see you.
Hey, look, my favorite people are here.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at Tina's here.
Mad.
Grant Gregory, Slender Dad. We
Well,
don't
Matt
Mad
is
yet.
right here, but Matt can be added to that list. He's a good friend.
Yeah. Hail
Hey,
FKHC 2005. I screwed that all up. I am sorry.
that's a
And,
footy club, isn't it? Or is it what's the
Is
other
that a
game?
kangaroo?
Or is it a cricket? Or what is that?
No, that's wait a minute. That is Australian League football, isn't it?
Oh,
Wrong.
dude, do you know how much I love Aussie football?
It's awesome.
Oh my god.
It's awesome. They beat the crap out of each other.
Plus the umpires are the best things to watch, man. They're like
Mm.
all like serious about, their two thumb or two fingers or one finger or whatever. That's so great.
Who used to stream that a lot, Grant?
ESPN, the Ocha.
No. Out of your Aussie boys, Landon,
Lyndon.
Lyndon. I don't know if he still did, but I used to watch those
No,
because it was like,
Lyndon quit YouTube after going over to a meetup.
oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I met Lyndon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Didn't I
did.
meat him in Florida? Yeah. And
Yeah,
he
Yeah,
quit
and
right
then he
after
come
that?
back and he
When-
come back and he never streamed again. He quit doing everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's
because there's a modeling career in that he was pursuing or some shit.
He was a good looking guy. He is a good looking.
No, he's a bouncer.
What?
Okay. I missed that guy because he used to do the Australian rules football and explain it to me. And I picked a team and I can't remember the name of them now.
What color were they?
I don't remember. Orange,
white.
black,
They were
orange and
white.
black,
They were pretty much all white.
orange and black.
Oh,
maybe?
you went to Tigers. That makes perfect sense.
No,
You
I
must
don't
be a
think they were
fucking
the Tigers.
fan.
No, I'll
God.
look it up. I'll look up the teams. I think they might have been playing them now that I think about it. Not rugby, Australian rules. Awesome. He became the world's best prostitute.
That I would
Right.
believe. He was kind of a skinny little guy.
I thought he had broad shoulders. Wasn't
Yeah, you
Wasn't
feel like a
that
big shit
small.
house.
yeah, he's a pretty decent sized dude.
Back then?
When I met him in Florida, I thought he was pretty big.
Okay.
Well,
Do you
everyone's got
realize
tall
we
to
were
me,
in
I'm
Florida
5'9".
together.
I know. I was shocked how tall you were.
Oh, yeah, I
I'm
always thought
saying
you
you
were
look
Walton
short.
size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Walton, I didn't think he was going to be that short. It's very disturbing.
Okay.
Um,
He's not
that's worse.
that
You-
short.
When you've got to
Dude,
look
he's
up to
like
Jed, you're in trouble.
5'5".
He's comics height.
He's 5'7".
I don't know about
No, he
that.
is not 5'7".
I don't know what that was. He is not. He says he's 5'7".
Oh, I thought
you-
Ian was 5'7".
Oh, maybe Ian. Maybe
Yeah.
comics is a little
I am-
taller.
I am much taller than comics.
I don't know. I think Walton was like 5'4", maybe.
Yeah, but you had to gel your hair up to be taller than comics. I saw the photo.
No, that's not true. My hair. What? That's such a lie. My hair was long and hanging down on my side. Why are you doing that?
I hope
Yeah, you
someday
were,
I make a
Biggles.
meetup with all you guys because I will tower over each and every one of you.
Okay.
Let me just let sit-ins persist, who I love. It is that we do talk about fantasy. I've taken a little break because George hasn't put out the book, but we're coming back Tuesday talking about A Song of Ice and Fire and stuff like that. And
see, I misread that. I thought it was Silithus, and I'm like, oh, old school WoW player. No,
no, one of the OGs here, one of the OGs. So I have to represent.
You know what's original about this, Scott? Or interesting? They've had more WoW expansions than they've had G.R.R. Martin books recently.
Yeah,
it's I can't even be mad because it's so absurd.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
You ever think to yourself, like, what would go good with this? Bacon.
Yeah, I do it when I'm having a bacon sandwich.
Yeah. Well, when I'm reading a Game of Thrones book, I want pheasant or like plum stuffed pork. I don't know.
So
he always thinks it's really good food.
You like picking like bones and shit out of your teeth while you're reading?
While I'm reading, I'll use the bone to flip the page. Who doesn't?
True.
Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. Yes, we will be talking about that very soon because we're getting more information on it. But tonight we are going to be talking about
what was that? What is the kingdom thing of the seven Dale?
Okay, so there's this autistic guy called Dunk, and dude, they've said he's going to be autistic. I've told you. I don't know why you don't believe me.
I know you keep telling me that. I do not want to believe it. Okay,
is that the Dunkin' Donuts guy?
Yep.
Okay.
We've had so many people stop by on X and probably leave because they're like, I thought they were talking about JFK.
We are
going to talk about JFK. We had like 57 people over on X. So if you left, I'm sorry. But if you're still there, this is the fact sheet. Okay. President Donald Trump's fact sheet from the White House, or it's whitehouse.gov.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
President Donald Trump orders declassification of JFK, RFK, and MLK, which one of the best ones in here. I don't know who said it, but they're like, which Kennedy is MLK? I thought that was funny.
I think the strangest thing about all the stuff that was released with MLK, that he was Diddy before Diddy was Diddy.
Well, he definitely got down. Okay.
Wow.
He definitely got down. I mean,
okay.
I don't know if he got down with like dudes, but I know
he says.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, he was also down with the sickness too, because apparently there was, all kinds of recreational
pharmaceuticals. Yeah, I think he liked a little. Hey, back then,
better living through pharmacology.
Yeah,
you take, and we do it today. They used to take these little white pills. People now take Adderall. It's pretty much the same thing.
Lines.
Yeah, there you go.
Little pill.
Alanis Morissette.
That's ironic.
Slow it down.
It's a jagged little pill.
That album for, and don't take this wrong, but A Female Rocker was good, except for ironic. Like nothing in that was ironic. It was just shitty things that happened. Or like Rain on a Wedding Day is not ironic.
No.
What about A Black Fly in Your White Chardonnay?
Yeah, not ironic.
The only thing that's ironic about it is you would swear that she was raised in the American schooling system because of how bad her understanding of English is.
Right.
She's Canadian, so it doesn't count. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, songwriting, not a strength.
No. So let's see what this
comedians that were on Full House is.
What? What?
Danny, or not Danny Tanner? It was the other one. Cousin or uncle. Yeah. Well, what was Uncle? Not Jesse. Uncle.
The other one.
The other
Fester?
guy.
Fester.
He's no.
Uncle Joey.
Uncle Joey was the one that she went down on a theater in. Hey,
buddy. Happy birthday.
All right. Hey, happy Australia Day.
Yeah, and have a good time. It was great to see you. Wait a minute. So Australia Day. So have a good one and enjoy enjoy your celebration, my friend. What was the what was the guy that just got hammer timed with a baseball bat and they called it self-harm, and he died. He was a funny comedian. Very dark.
When did that happen?
Are you talking about
Bob
Bob
Saget?
Saget?
Yeah, Saget.
Yeah, Saget had a heart
Yes.
attack.
Yes, after being struck in the head with a bat multiple times.
Are you serious? I
They
didn't know
said
that.
he
Oh, is
fell
it- oh,
down in his hotel room.
Yeah,
Sure.
multiple times apparently. I think
Yeah.
his head bounced off the tile a few times.
Oh, we need
the
to check that out.
the
Okay, well,
headboard-
hold on though. I have watched Joe Biden fall down multiple times going
And
be just
upstairs, so it's not like it's completely impossible.
Oh, all right. Let's get to the topic. The White
He's in
House.
Florida. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, that is weird. Providing Americans the truth after 6 decades of secrecy. And
Ooh.
let us not forget they were supposed to open the file for JFK 50 years after it was sealed. And that was during Trump's first presidency, I want to say.
And Pompeo, who he removed security clearance from,
was the one that talked him out of it, correct?
Yep. Well, that I'd remove his security clearance too, you dumbass.
That dude was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He was surrounded by
the terrible people.
Yeah, he really was. And now everyone's, oh, they're all sycophants. You know, they're loyal. Oh, they're all loyal to Trump. Yeah, that's what you want as a president. People loyal to you, you morons. Anyways, providing Americans the truth after six decades. Today, President Donald Trump signed an executive order entitled Declassification of Records Concerning the Assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The executive order establishes the policy that more than 50 years after these assassinations, the victims' families and the American people deserve the truth. Specifically, the order directs the Director of National Intelligence and other appropriate officials to 1, present a plan within 15 days. So he signed that order. Was it Thursday?
I don't know.
I think it was Thursday. So that was the 23rd. So 15 days from then, for the full and complete release of all John F. Kennedy assassination records. That to me is huge. No redacted crap. We need to see everything.
Please.
I can't imagine they'll do that though. They'll have to redact.
No.
Do you guys think they'll show anything redacted? Like everything
they
will be
better not.
unredacted?
They better not. I want to see who is still alive and in government now that had something to do with that.
I was gonna say, I can almost guarantee that regardless, they will redact the names of anyone who is still active.
Still alive. Yeah.
No.
But he
I
said,
want to know.
right. And President Trump said he didn't want that to happen. Like, if they were involved, if they're still alive, it should be known.
Yeah.
And then, it's been 60 years. And as a nation, I think we are so far away from this that it will not destroy us if we find out what really happened, which we all believe is that the government had something to do with it, i.e. Lyndon Johnson and his cronies.
Of course. I
mean, we played the tape from one of Lyndon Johnson's cronies. I forgot his name now, but admitting to it on tape. All right. So it's ridiculous. That's been out for years now. It's time that we know what happened so that it doesn't happen again, so that we do not allow this. Because if you do not know your history, you are going to repeat that history. That is why you teach it. You know what I mean? Like the idea you don't teach kids anymore and they all think everybody's Nazis because they don't truly know what a Nazi really was. It's sickening. Number 2, immediately review the records relating to Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassinations and present a plan for their full and complete release within 45 days. So present a plan. That's what I'm getting a little hung up on.
Sorry.
What is the plan? Like, just release them.
No. Well, you have to release them to a place, a location, so they're easily accessible to everyone. And they have to be somehow cataloged so they're understandable.
Don't we already
you also have to make sure that if there are agents that are still associated with the actions that took place and they're out in the field, you get them out of the field so that they're not in harm's way when this information comes to light.
Do you think there's an 80-year-old dude out in the field right now?
I mean, out in the field can mean a lot of different things.
I get what you're saying. I really do. But we are at a point now where if any of these guys are still alive, it's pretty shocking. You know,
Well, I mean, Nancy Pelosi was alive back then.
Yeah. How old
Well,
was
I
she?
mean, the Crypt Keeper never dies.
Mitch McConnell was alive back then.
He
Joe
doesn't
Biden
know
was
he's
alive back then.
They're alive now.
Okay.
My parents were alive back then.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Lodonis? Haven't been on lately.
Can I was gonna say something he doesn't like, but I'm gonna refrain.
Okay. That's mature of you, I guess.
Let's be nice to Adonis.
I do like this one from FKHC 2005. Unless there are methods that need to stay classified and information.
Well, I mean, the method was triangulation of fire. I mean, they fired bullets from 3 different angles at the dude.
Yeah.
So.
And we've been told the magic bullet. Like, let's get past
the magic
that.
bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And then people trying. This is why I'm so just need this information out. It's because for decades, people arrogantly look at you like, oh, you don't believe he was just shot, but with the bullet, they proved it. That bullet had to take like a 90-degree turn, go out of him, go into the governor in front of him, turn back around, and it was pristine. The one they found, pristine, just happened to be on his body when they took him to the hospital. And the arrogance of people to look at you and be like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're the conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm. DEI destroyed game studios. Does that sound like a good title?
It does. Okay. President Trump is ending the endless delays. In his first term, President Trump ordered agencies to move towards disclosing more information about John F. Kennedy's assassination, and now he is ordering that the work be completed. The President John F. Kennedy Assassination Record Collections Act of 1992 required all records related to the assassination to be released in 25 years, absent a presidential certification that continued postponing is necessary due to an identifiable harm to the military, defense, intelligence operation. And I think that's why they've been doing that. Law enforcement
that's why.
Or conduct of foreign relations. And such identifiable harm is of such gravity that it outweighs the public interest in disclosure. This is what I'm about to say. This is a country by the people, of the people, for the people. So nothing is more important than us knowing the truth.
This will be the only time that I would criticize Trump about these types of issues. I think he has an obligation. I think we have an obligation to know what happened at several points along the way.
Okay, dude, you don't have to make me feel bad by throwing that out. Jeez.
Well, my God.
Sorry about your dad, man.
Wait a minute.
What a dick, though. You put it in the comment section. God, make me feel. That's a dirty move. My dad's dead.
I told you to be nice.
I put it in the private chat.
And
I should have told me.
And I didn't say a bad name about him. So there you go.
All I said is, haven't seen you in a while. You didn't have to blow me up like that. I really am sorry about your dad, though.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Not you, though, you dick. But your dad, I feel really bad about that.
Why are you laughing? What a knucklehead.
Who?
You know what?
He gets it.
He asked me a favor, and I said sure, and then he stopped communicating with me. So whatever.
Okay, what's going on right now? He loves you. We all love you. Everybody love. All right, let's move on.
I don't think
you're in a safe place, Culture.
Culture, I'm being 100% honest with you. He loves you.
Really?
Yeah. When we talk behind your back, it's always good.
Wow.
Insulting, but good.
Yeah. Why would we? Well, God,
I would expect nothing less, Slender.
Nothing I've ever said about you, I wouldn't say to your face.
I know, and that's what I love about y'all. Even Slender. It's kind of fun how Slender found his way into our little circle of crazy.
I love Slender. Slender's great, and his wife is awesome.
I know, she's great. When she
said
shows
happy
up,
birthday too, if you didn't hear her.
Oh, thank you, Slender bride.
When she shows up in my streams, it's like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, her, Mrs. Tox. Every once in a while, Mrs. Tox jumps in.
Whenever Bad Take is in my chat, I talk her up.
Good take. Great. Good take's great. In October 2017 and April 2018, certifications President Trump directed agencies to reevaluate redactions and disclose any information that no longer warranted withholding. President Biden delayed disclosure in 2021, 22, and 23. In this order, President Trump finds that continued withholding of the John F. Kennedy records is not in the public's interest and is long overdue. He also concludes that releasing the Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. assassination records is in the public interest. Now,
Yeah,
this is the
especially
one.
now.
This is the one that I mean, everyone wants to see JFK, I think, just to be proven right. But Robert F. Kennedy's assassination is the one that has me very interested, because Sirhan, excuse me. That is like I was about to say MLK. It's like oh God, what is
MK Ultra?
Thank you. I keep wanting to say MLK. MK Ultra written all
Which Kennedy is that now?
Robert F. Kennedy?
No, MLK.
Oh, MLK is their brother. Joe Kennedy didn't want to talk about it, but you know.
Oh, Malik.
He really liked the ladies, you know.
Anyway,
didn't matter. He wasn't racist. But yeah, Robert F. Kennedy is the one where I want to see what happened with that, because
what happened with that.
I mean, they grabbed him. They had their guy. They wanted us all to believe it. But the more you read into Robert F. Kennedy's assassination, it looks like MK Ultra. I mean, all culture you understand, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. You could talk on it too.
That's why I fired the name out there. I mean, look, it's the same kind of stuff where they turn people on like switches after kind of programming them to do a specific thing. A lot of people have argued that MK Ultra is kind of the same thing that the blonde kid was subjected to. That all of a sudden disappeared from the news after taking some pot shots at the president in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like they got worse at mind control.
Yeah. Yeah. They've only gotten better. You're absolutely right.
Do you know that Sirhan is still alive?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And he still to this day says he doesn't remember the act. He doesn't remember. He just,
I'm going to tell you right now, that blonde kid doesn't remember anything now.
Well, yeah. That was, I mean, if you want to talk about another person who could be MK Ultra, we can talk about the first Trump shooting, where a kid who rarely went to the gun range, rarely had no social media. His apartment was immaculate, but yet
he had like 1,000 phones, right?
Yeah, he had at least 2 to 3 phones, and one of them was calling a DC number just outside a DC number. Multiple times. Who was he talking? We never found that. Huh?
Said I heard about those calls, and I was like,
yeah, that's weird.
That's super sus.
Very sus, but they can't get into the phone or something. They're trying to say to figure out who it was. Also, this kid rarely went to the gun range, maybe occasionally with his father, and he was able to line up from 150 yards away, just using the sights on the gun. A police officer came up behind, he turned, pointed the gun at that police officer. That police officer fell. He turned back and took a shot, hitting Trump in the ear, and then 8 more he got off, or not 7 more he got off in very close range. This is somebody who never shot, and they're like, oh, it's an easy shot. Yeah, maybe for somebody who shoots a lot and who is at a range and there's no adrenaline.
Well, first of all, you have to calm your nervous system. You have to be trained because there's so much kickback in a rifle like that. I mean, he wasn't set up or anything like that. He didn't have a lot of downrange skill. Not to mention the wind was blowing. Do you remember that, Slender?
Yes.
So, when you look at that, you're like, oh, okay, well, this guy is, trained. Well, he never went to a gun range. So what was he doing all those times in DC, right next to an intelligence building or a set of intelligence buildings? What was that guy doing all that time?
It's pretty weird, right? He had explosives in his car. He had a rangefinder. He had, he was able to fly his drone around. I mean, none of it made sense. There, and then after
how
he
do you
was
get 8 shots off, right? Like if you've got a trained sniper team on an adjacent roof,
because no one was
you
aimed
should
at
not
that
get
building.
8 shots off before the sniper team
No,
engages you.
Well, and
That's the
ask yourself
problem.
this question: why were there no government agents on that building? And don't tell me the roof was slanted, because
Well,
those
that's what they
fuckers were
said.
up there the next. Those fuckers were up there the next day, walking around there and spraying the blood off the fucking the ceiling roof.
Oh my God,
I think that lady may have received a nice little payment before she got fired.
What's up, Script?
Happy birthday!
Thank you, my friend.
I made it.
Yeah.
I rarely get to swing by on these because you guys run up against my own show, which I know you did that to spite me, and I appreciate that.
Of course. I every right before we go live, every time I said, let's shove it up Script Doctor's ass. Let's go. And that's
and I appreciate it every time. So I'm so happy to be here.
Sorry, I didn't even know you had a show right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. No, it's absolutely perfectly fine. I love it. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been too long since I've been here, but because I missed you.
Yeah.
And but I'm happy to be here to ring this in. Many happy returns, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Congrats with the election. We seem to be getting some cool
look
revelations coming up here.
Look at you guys up there in Canada, huh? You got rid of the commie.
Well, he's tentatively stepped down.
Is he still kind of in charge though?
Well,
I mean,
so he does a thing called the prorogues parliament, which means that nothing can really happen in the government until a new party leader for the Liberals is appointed, which is very similar to what Brian Mulroney did back in the 80s, and that did not go well for the Conservatives then. And it did lead into a new era of prosperity for Canada, because we did really well in the 90s, because under a traditional Liberal government in Canada, that is, we turned a deficit of around 34 million into a surplus of 7 million annually, year over year by the end of the century, because we cut taxes and we altered the spending to the things that you're supposed to spend money on, and then it ended up paying off.
Look how that works.
And it worked. And then unfortunately we got a conservative leader in Stephen Harper in, and he squandered all that, which then ushered in the era of Trudeau.
Yeah, man.
So thank you, jerk offs, for that.
That's awesome.
But maybe we'll go into a better realm. I don't know. I don't particularly like the current leader of the CPC, because he is a lifelong politician, has never worked in the private sector, failed in all of the departments he oversaw while he was with the previous Conservative administration. And it's also kind of telling that when you first see him and he looks like a concierge with glasses or some sort of like accountant geek, and all of a sudden he's been revamped to look a little bit more masculine and the glasses are gone. It seems like there's some sort of third party with letters like FEW sorted in there that is trying to help him along the way. So I have my reservations, but hopefully the inspiration that seems to be generated by the new administration of the United States will light a fire under other countries throughout the world, especially in the UK. Sort of right the ship where it should have been in the first place. And for those that are, hurting, for especially in the minority groups, the legit minorities, not those faking, will actually get what they need. And some balance will be restored. And I think the first aspect of that is the release of these documents showing how dangerous corrupt government has actually been within the West for the last 3 generations. It seems it could be further.
I would say 3 to 4. You're right. I mean, you also have FDR, who held back information to Pearl Harbor, giving them a couple hours extra head start on like, hey guys, you might get attacked today. There have been releases of that information. I'm hoping for Roswell. I'm hoping for a lot of that type of stuff. But this is a start. So I'm really happy that we have a president willing to finally say, okay, enough is enough. We kept pushing this decade by decade, off. It is time now to just let the nation know, so that we can finally put it behind us. And it's weird to say that because it's 60 years ago, but we still are affected by the murder of John F. Kennedy.
Well, John F. Kennedy and also Robert Kennedy, because he was killed at the hotel. But the other part too is that Trump also signed this to be released before he left office in 2020. Yes. And then, of course, it was delayed. So now he realized the mistake is you got to do it while you're at the start of your term, because then you can oversee it and ensure it gets released. I'm looking forward to listen. I think that there's going to be a lot of mistakes with this administration, as there is with everyone.
Yeah.
But I'd rather suffer the mistakes with the intent that appears to be authentic with current President Trump than whatever it was you guys had with Sleepy Joe there.
Yeah, that was. I can't wait till those records get released. Like who actually was in charge, because it wasn't him. I mean,
no, it's a very Woodrow Wilson type of situation.
Yes. I've been saying that for a couple of years now. Like it literally. I mean, Woodrow Wilson, for those who don't know, President of the United States, he had a massive stroke, and it took him. His wife became the de facto president, signing his name, telling people this is what he said, like literally running our country illegally. And I kind of feel like Dr. Jill might have been doing the same thing.
Could have been someone else, little Obama guy there, or
I
mean, remember Woodrow Wilson's the reason why you guys have the income tax.
Yes.
And unfortunately why Canada has it too, because again, our countries, we actually kind of help each other out. If we come up with a good idea, you steal it. And if you come up with a good idea, we steal it.
Yep.
And that shows to our strength. But we also steal bad ideas too, like from each other as well.
Yeah.
So it's like income tax for, the First World War. It's like, it's supposed to be temporary. And
it was only supposed to be to cover the First World War. Yeah.
Yes. Which again, to this day, we have the official story is why it happened. But even in the official story, you're like, I don't get why the Black Hand killing Archduke Ferdinand led to all these countries declaring war on each other.
You know what, man? Yeah.
Well, even the treaties don't even properly specify it, because when you look at the language, it's like, well, wait a minute. If a terrorist group attacks someone in another country, that's not the country itself. The treaty requires you to join the country that was victimized by the act of terrorism to hunt the terrorist, not attack the country.
Right. It wasn't because that guy was from another country. He had to be an official, like part of the government.
Well, he had a name, Franz Ferdinand.
Archduke Ferdinand. Yeah.
Yeah. Archduke was the one that got killed.
Yeah, there was a great children's book about a bull.
And a band, right?
Ferdinand.
Yes, and a band. A good band too. Pretty good band.
Not bad.
I like that band.
Yeah, they weren't bad. They weren't bad. But you're right about Trump, doing this right away. It was smart because, as you see up here, Biden delayed it every year that he could. And now it's time that the American people know the truth. And it's time that we, by doing this, it gives you a little bit
you
of.
You can't handle the truth.
Well, I think the exposure of how corrupt the government has been for all of those years is the most important part of this story.
Yes.
I'm sorry. People need to realize that the government's not something to be worshipped. It's something to be limited, as it's supposed to be in our very own founding documents.
Well, what blows my mind, like the idea, you don't need an AR-15 to hunt. That's not what the Second Amendment's about, though.
Yeah,
it's about
we aren't hunting. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, I want to use whatever gun I want to use. Or
they always just assumed people could use guns for hunting. What they put it in there was to protect us so that we can rise up against a tyrannical government.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with hunting.
On it. They weren't planning on it lasting forever.
No, they knew. I think was it Jefferson thought there should be like a revolution every 20 years or something like that.
Well, Jefferson has also been accused of possible treason because when Adams was in office, he supposedly was helping the natives cause wars or battles or incursions to look bad. And it's like, well, that's kind of weird. But I mean, it happened. And it eventually, I guess, led to Jefferson taking office because that was at a time when Jefferson was of a different party than Adams. Because I believe Jefferson was a Democratic Republican is what the party was at the time. I'm a Canadian who learned American history. I'm not an American who knew it. So
more than most Americans, so that's nice.
Now we don't script. I'm a very old person.
You're in your early 50s.
He's really old.
I'm not
So-
that old. Okay, I'm in my early 50s. But the truth is, we stopped teaching government like 10 years after I got out of middle school.
Wow.
So yeah,
it was after me.
back
Yeah.
from elementary school onward.
Mhm.
There was a very solid foundation of this country. Plus, we also had, Saturday cartoons, which gave us Schoolhouse Rock, which taught everybody a lot of other stuff. Right?
Oh, yeah,
Just
we
a
watched Schoolhouse
bill
Rock, too.
on, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
so-
a bill on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. And so, in middle school, you actually had a required class. It was not an elective; it was a required class that was about government. So you had to take American government. I believe for me, it was 8th grade. So by the time you move off into high school, you then had to take another required class about further about government, and that's where I learned debate and everything else. So it was great to have all of these different steps. Oh, by the way, I had a math class that was about finance and how to manage your money and read bank statements and do your taxes, believe it or not.
Home ec.
Oh yeah, we had that. It was a 1-year course though. It wasn't continual, but it was also only in high school.
Yeah, exactly. And we only had 1 semester of it, not a full year. But regardless, the interesting thing about that class was that class disappeared like less than a decade after I left school. It's like all of the very important things that would keep America running were eliminated. Auto shop was gone. Metal shop was gone. Wood shop was gone.
Well, in the
home
late
ec
80s
disappeared.
Yeah, well,
it's
think
just
about this
crazy.
too. In the late 80s, early 90s, no longer were people told, "Hey, go to tech school, learn electrical, learn plumbing." It was college or bust. If you don't go to college, you're gonna be ruined.
And that's so weird because out of high school, we actually had a school right after that you could go to instead of college was a trade school that was partially paid for by the taxpayers. So your tuition was nominal. So if you wanted to go learn HVAC or auto mechanics or anything else, or you just wanted to extend your auto mechanics understanding, we had kids out of high school that were already had all their compliance certificates. So it's like they could literally go to work for dealerships or whatever right out of high school.
We had that in Canada too up until 2003 or 4, I think. Because oh, sorry, Tina. Go ahead. I apologize. Good to see you, though, Tina. Great.
Good to see you again, too. I was just going to say that's why I really liked my son's high school. They were set up with every time a kid matriculated, they would have a 5-year plan. Obviously, high school is only 4 years, with the idea that, okay, are you entering university or junior college? Are you going into trade school? Are you going to the workforce, or are you going into the military? And then you were guided through the electives, as everybody takes the same required English, math, whatever. But the electives were used to kind of guide you toward that end. And if you weren't sure, you took, a little from column A, a little from column B until you could make that decision. And there are plenty of kids that, with partnerships through many of the trade schools and the junior colleges, where some of them had the same certificates that you mentioned, or my nephew right now is going to graduate high school with an associate's degree.
Yeah, they do that.
The AP courses, some of them still exist, but not the breadth that I had when I was in high school. I literally could have been a junior when I entered college had I elected to do more AP stuff.
My
back in the day,
AP was racist now.
No, well, maybe. But back in the day, we also had something called a scholastic diploma, which meant you went above and beyond the minimum requirements for high school. You had to exceed them dramatically. So,
and well, real quick, Brian McCann puts it that all comprehensive classes were removed by the Department of Education after 1993.
Yeah.
So
that would
again,
show. Well, then there's actually a great example, because the people who are running the Department of Education in the 90s were not following the edict of what Carter set out for it to do, which on paper looked good. But the thing is, that human element is okay. Well, as long as the right people are in charge of it and are doing, and holding schools to the standards and practice that are required, not lowering the requirements for good testing, but allocating the proper resources to ensure that the students are rising to the occasion. That sounds like a good thing. But that doesn't happen when you start getting private donations and a lot of money coming in, and then people saying, you know what, my kid is a little dumb, but I'm a rich guy, and I want to make sure that he's able to go to Harvard, not just on the legacy, but also on the fact that he's got quote unquote good grades. So how about we make those standards for those good grades a little lower so my idiot son can go to the Ivy League school?
Think about the Department of Education, what they have done. They've used it as a tool to control states. If you don't teach this, you don't get the funding you need to buy computers, pay for teaching. And the funding is withheld from people for the simple fact that they didn't, certain states didn't want to teach DEI, or, the leave no kid behind sounds like a great idea, but really all that meant was you dumbed down the classes.
Yes.
So that you didn't have to hold kids back. Look, I was a veteran of the 4th grade. I did 2 tours. But you know what? You know what though, real quick. On our Christmas tree, my mom always said that my second snowflake was way better than my first. So it worked. People,
you were a special snowflake.
Here's something that's kind of fascinating, right? So the Department of Education should have been not an administrative service over the states, but actually a resource for the states. And I put it to you like this. So let's say that the states report all their numbers with regards to all their schools, public schools, to the Department of Education. The Department of Education should take those numbers, say, okay, this is the mean intelligence level of our students at this time. These are the states that are falling behind. These are the states that are well above. How about we go out to the states that are well above, find out what they're doing that's not money dependent, and then we would share that knowledge with the states that are underperforming. They should be a relay of communication to help the schools. They should not be an arbiter or an authority over the schools, because that is how you help things. Like that was actually what ended up, that was the intention with regards to Canada's health program. Like our health program is is done by province, but the Minister of Health is supposed to take information from the doctors about what's going on with the health of Canadians. They find out all the similarities. They say, oh, we see a whole uptick in Canadians in this region because they're eating this or doing this. So we will share that knowledge with all the other doctors so that they can tell their patients this is a successful trial run. At no point are they supposed to say, doctors, oh, you have to do this, and I'm not showing you the data as to why you have to do this. And the other part too is they're supposed to say, we are suggesting that you do this, and it's up to the doctors with their patients to choose whether to do it or not. There's no authority in place because it's supposed to be an aggregate of data to inform and spread information that is useful to them. And it's up to the people receiving that information to take it and use it or not. And the moment you say you don't have a choice in that matter is the moment you've ruined your ability in the Department of Education, whether it's a War Department, whether it's a healthcare department, whether it's insurance department, anything. The moment you start doing an authority as opposed to sharing information is the moment you've lost your trust, and you're also abusing the power by creating power that you don't technically or legally have.
Well, we'd very clearly settled again post all of that. These departments that were established by Carter were utilized to lower the bar across the board. I mean, and it's been complained about forever, and scores have been going down since the Department of Education was formed. It's why I believe it needs to just disappear. And funding should be, based on, the state's needs as far as the population of their children. And that's it. I mean, I would like to see more money spent per kid, and I'd like classroom size to be brought down. It's why I would encourage people, if you can afford it, to find a suitable private school that does not lower requirements for kids' performance based on, the Department of Education standards, because those are incredibly low, because they were all a part of lowering everything to the lowest common denominator, which is something I started calling out all the way back as I was graduating high school in 1989. So, it's so funny because I thought at the time, oh, wow, I'm a right-leaning libertarian. Little did I know that I was going to become called the alt-right, in my 50s. So yay me.
Well, and I mean, I guess people all forget this, but whenever you spin up any government agency of any kind, the taxpayer is going to pay for that government agency. And the vast majority of the money that government agency gets, it's not going to go to improving whatever system they've been put in charge of. It's going to go to keeping those people paid.
So like industry.
Department of Education, let's say they get $100 billion for the year. $70 billion of that is just going to the cost of overhead.
Well,
Yes.
that's it right there. And,
Well,
and,
and
you get rid
here's-
of music, you get rid of art, you get
oh
rid of
man,
like everything.
sports. Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah.
you shrink sports programs. You get rid of all those specialized programs.
Well, I wanted
we had this amazing like a pre-law kind of a thing in my high school where like
wow.
if you were legitimately interested in that, I mean, they would basically teach you how to become a paralegal before you graduated.
Wow.
So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
That's pretty interesting.
it's crazy. So the stuff that stopped being taught in your area culture happened in
Yeah.
the late 80s, early 90s.
yes.
And for us in Canada, it happened in the 2010s.
Oh
Right.
wow.
Well, you guys are always a little behind.
Well, I mean, here's the difference. Here's something that's actually fascinating. So the Rockefeller Company is the one that kind of started the public school program.
They screwed us.
And here's the funny thing. The government at that time pushed back against what Rockefeller wanted to teach, which is why you got to learn civics, why you got to learn engineering, home ec, and all those types of things. But then when the Department of Education comes into play, and a few years after that, well, during Reagan's peak, all of a sudden the same interest that the Rockefellers wanted with regards to what they wanted public school to be, which is create worker drones, started to take effect. Now, what's funny is that in Canada, around a little bit earlier before that, we had a guy named Egerton Ryerson, who basically wanted to create a public school that was for every person, every child in Canada, regardless if you're French, English, or of the First Nations. Didn't care. If you wanted to send your kid to a public school, you would have the right to do so. And he created the program, and it was basically math, farming, home ec, and languages. So it's all the basic stuff. So you learn to read and write, you learn how to farm, you learn how to sew, you learn how to do basic, carpentry skills and all that type of stuff. And that was the standard practice for a long time until education started to expand, until other courses from other countries started to like take hold and be like, oh, okay, now we're getting to more science and chemistry and philosophy and art. That's what's there. So there was no drone subtext program in Canada's education for a while. But then at the turn of the century, the drone stuff started coming in. That's when they started saying, you know what, we have too many people who are independent thinkers. We also have too many Canadians that are going to the United States to start businesses there because there's a lot less regulation and a lot less
and less taxation. Yeah.
Well, it depends on where you go. There in some states, there's way more taxation than there is in Canada. But yes, to your point, like it's mostly the regulation. California, Washington State, West Virginia. For a period, there was a time there you couldn't start a business if you're a Canadian there, taxes, and whatnot. But like it was just people are leaving. We're doing too much education where people are leaving and going to other countries. So let's dumb down the education, dumb down the people to keep them here so that they can work in jobs. Oh, wait, now we're going to outsource those jobs just like the United States is doing. So so what is it going to be? It's going to be a service economy.
Yeah.
As opposed to an industrial economy, which industrial is way better. And the service complements the industrial economy. So as long as they're both domestic, you end up making a lot of money.
Well, what's great about what you're talking about is something that Paul Polvier, I don't know how to say that guy's name. Anyway, he was talking,
right?
Yeah. He was kind of addressing that a little bit, saying, look, we have all of these resources here. We just let the US do it because, we can't bother or whatever, when he's talking about the liquefaction of natural gas and all these other things. And it was a conversation he was having with Jordan Peterson. And I found it quite fascinating that he recognizes that some of the things that have been done previously do not benefit Canada at all. But
and they don't benefit the U.S. either. That's the other part.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I think he's not looking at the reciprocal relationship with the states as he should be. But that's beside the point. But here's an interesting fact. I started my first company in high school. My first LLP was in high school with my best friend. We started the first landscaping company that I owned. And we were able to do that because during the summer previous, I took computer geometry. Back then, we even had a computer lab where I could take mathematical classes. And I passed that in summer school so that I could do that with my best friend in my senior year. So much of my senior year allowed me to only go to 3 classes in the morning or 3 classes in the afternoon, depending on the structure. But it ended up being 3 classes in the morning, both of those semesters, where I basically just, ran my business. So it was
awesome.
It was an interesting situation. And again, I could only do that because of all the electives that I had already taken, the summer school I did to get life out of the way, and I still graduated with a scholastic diploma, not a standard one.
I want to jump onto what CJH is saying here, because he says a lot of great things, but I disagree with him on this. I think music and the arts are very important in school. I think there are a lot of kids out there that will never get this. Their parents aren't artistic, their parents don't know music, but at school they may open the door to a pathway for these kids to blossom.
To do something extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it goes even farther than that, man.
Well, I was going to
If
ask.
Parents are the only one teaching you. You're picking up their style. The whole point of going into an art class is you get exposed to a lot of different styles, a lot of different. Your imagination is expanded by that.
Yeah.
In a way that your parents.
I want to hear what Tina, because you said something in the chat which was great. I want you to speak on it, but then I'm going to ask you a question after you're done, real quick. So, what do you think about the music and the arts?
Well, I mean, I had kids during the whole, Mozart for the mind, for babies, and then also when I was going for my second master's in training and development, we studied adult education. And art and music are very key to bringing out analytical skills and teaching someone perspective on a shape, so they can learn more math by drawing a shape than they might learn in a geometry class.
Right.
So that was just my.
No, and I agree. Like musical,
music and art.
Also musical theory is math. Like you learn how to keep the beats and things like that. But what I was gonna say to you too is, you've had kids go through the system recently. I have young ones in the system right now, and you notice that all school has become, truly, all it has become is how to pass a test to get more funding. Standard testing and grades. I mean, they're in 2nd and 5th grade. That's all they work on. And if they don't have it that year, they're working on it for the next year. It's
Absolutely.
no longer like knowledge, thinking.
Yeah, the entire curriculum is teach to the test. That's all that happens. And unfortunately, the test scores are what indicates funding for good or for bad. And it's absolutely sad. Because remember,
no
I taught
children to be taught; they're assets to be exploited.
Yes,
absolutely. They're babysitting these objects so that they can make more money to babysit more objects.
But that's but that speaks to what Script. No, real quick. That speaks to what Script was talking about, the development of drones, which is what the Rockefellers wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, Tina.
That's what we're working. That's what they're working.
I just wanted to say that I taught at the undergraduate level for 15 years, and I watched Common Core hit the university.
Oh, I hate Common Core, dude.
And
I don't get it.
I mean, I understand the fact that you can teach some really, really, really great math tricks that can help you compute things much quicker. So I think teaching different ways to do math is a good thing.
But not teaching the way we do it, though, Tina. Sorry to interrupt you, because you're right.
Absolutely. I mean, I was literally teaching kids how to write formulas in Excel, and it was like, okay, so let's start with something easy, like a formula that you would build to take 20% of an item, and trying to teach them, and they kind of got Excel. They could underline, they could put borders in, but when you asked them the math, they were like, well, I don't know. What would be the calculation for 20% of $100? And I'm like, didn't you guys learn like the of kind of stands for the multiplication sign? So it's 0.20 times 1. No.
Dude, this Common Core, like putting like things in columns of ones, like their division is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. I still don't understand it. And you're not allowed to teach them regular math. The teachers ask you not to teach them math. Like, let us do it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
no, don't have it, and they don't want them to memorize. And they don't want them to memorize their multiplication tables.
No,
nothing.
That's why every kid who goes on one of those like dating shows or some shit looks like a retard.
Right, because Common Core.
The broccoli hair is a byproduct of Common Core math. That's what
I agree. I agree.
It is ridiculous, and like I laugh at it, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm teaching you one thing I've learned. And only up to 10 you could do it, but multiplications of 9 you could do on your fingers. And my daughter was like, what? I'm like, check it. I don't know if I'm going to do it right on the camera, but it was like, give me 2 times 9. 1, 2, drop the 2. So you got 18. Give me 5 times 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 45. I learned that from Stand and Deliver, the movie, but still.
But I mean, these are important skills, and for kids who can't learn by memorization. My youngest son, absolutely brilliant, PhD candidate. I'm going to brag about him again right now, but he was dyslexic and he had other learning disabilities. So he was in special ed from elementary school, even into at the university level. That just meant he got longer to take a test, or if an assignment required lots of writing, he took a little bit longer to do that. But long story short, he was able to learn math by doing that trick.
Yeah.
That other kid, and for that kids who can't do just straight memorization. I mean, when a dyslexic kid is trying to read, they're not seeing different symbols.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a foreign language that's on the page. Right. They literally just don't know the sound a letter R makes.
Yeah, or it gets jumbled a little bit.
Well, it's that same trick. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there have read that essay where the first letter of the word and the last letter of the word are the same, but all the middle words are jumbled around. Our people that aren't dyslexic can translate that, but people that are dyslexic can't. And then as a result, that also causes confusion with normal words. So that's one of the that's one of the earlier tests. One of my friends in high school had to take we found out he was dyslexic because when we were given that thing to read and be like, oh, isn't that really cool? He couldn't read it. Like he just couldn't make sense of it. And then he was like confirmed dyslexic. And we realized, oh, wait. So it's not like a general stupid thing, because it's not. It's just a weird crossing of a wire or something as an allegory where they have the comprehension skills and they know what all the words mean and everything. But for some strange reason, there's a disconnect between the eye and how the brain is processing what's it seeing as it pertains to words that just doesn't compute. And it requires an extra muscle for that person to work at so that they can recognize it. And the other part too is I find it helps them stronger with comprehension, stronger with writing as a result, because they have to focus more on it than everyone else that has it more of a passive reflex of sorts.
Absolutely. But, and dyslexia has nothing to, I mean, they call it used to be considered a learning disability, but the individuals are not disabled. I mean, my son scores off the charts scores off the charts in math and science. And it was then the reading and the writing skills that brought him down. So, but thankfully, at least the special ed portions of school were great, because Jacob needed a little bit of help. JD was always in the AP classes. He was always in the high honors. So he got to have courses that were tailored more to the way his brain works. And that's the problem with our private education system, because unless you're paying for $1 million academy somewhere on the East Coast, your kid going to the average Catholic or Lutheran private school is not going to get that special attention, because the schools don't have the funding from the government to give each student what they need. So your smart kids and your kids who need a little help are all in the same classroom with 34 other kids.
Yeah, like I'm dyslexic, and they literally the government. I mean, they paid for it. They sent me to Yale to have my IQ test done so they could prove that it's like I'm just not a moron that can't get it. So like my IQ was over 120. So they're like, okay, so he's not stupid. But when it came to reading and writing, and you guys see it, I can't, sometimes words just jumble on me. And I'm like, like still who and how, I'll screw that up every time. But like certain words or phrasing of words or certain like syllables in the words, I don't know how to explain it. I get stuck on. And I can't say the word, but I know the word. It's almost like they always explained it to me as like, the way I see it, I understand it, but by the time I process it and try to push it out my mouth, it's a different word, but I still think I'm saying it right. It's weird.
And so and when my son went to the pediatric neurologist to, get all of his tests to determine the dyslexia, one of the other things they found, and I forget what the scientific term it was, it's the fact that he got along with kids that were very young, and he got along with adults. He always had a problem with his age group, only to find out when he got the rest of his neurological testing done that he can't perceive emotion on someone's face. So
Mhm.
unless he can't pick up these nonverbal skills to know that somebody's annoyed with you, or somebody's making fun of you, or somebody's angry, or somebody's sad, he can't pick up on those skills at all. And he used to go to, his lunch club in middle school was just a bunch of other kids with that same type of disability that were taught life skills, how to recognize signs of when someone is trying to communicate with you in a nonverbal manner. And it was really, really amazing, the
See, I
stuff
don't
that was
see that
done.
anymore though. Like, so my youngest daughter has, she's having some of the same type of issues I had. I could see it. Like, like first of all, focusing. But second of all, like, able to, she could spell a word perfectly once, and then I'll just turn right back around and ask her the same word, and she completely forgot it. Seeing the nonverbal cues with people, like, that took me a long time to understand. That's why you either liked me or you hated me, because like I just didn't get it. So I just kept being me. So if you were annoyed with me and trying to give me those signs, I didn't see it. So
a lot of that back when I was a young one, that was associated with Asperger's, which is now part of the autism scale.
What did
So-
FDR do for that?
That was really funny.
Thought it was hilarious. Nonverbal cues, didn't get it. Hey, Matt, perfect
Speaking of
timing.
Asperger's,
Bro.
Yes. That was good. I'll give
Well,
you
I
that.
guess I'll come back next time when he's not here.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Matt, I'm teasing. Oh,
Yo, I
Matt,
know.
I have 4 great stories for you to riff off for tomorrow.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna send them to you.
Yep. Yeah, I just need a little time with it. I'll try to get a hold of Graham, see if he'll work with me.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
What's
But,
going on?
So's this script doctor guy. Maybe you should work with
Yeah.
him. He's a
Script's
writer,
the best.
I think.
I wanted to work with him, but I was denied. I was like, "Ooh, you're gonna
Really?
be talking about the Madden movie, the script? That sounds awesome. I would love to be a part of that." Nope, denied.
Yeah,
You
I
never,
would-
I
you
didn't
never
ask
reached
him.
out. You didn't reach out at all. You reached out through a proxy. That doesn't work, man.
Oh, fine. You know what? Next time you get anything like military or police, related on these scripts, I want in.
Oh, if you want in on a military script, I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
or
there you
law
go.
enforcement. I
See?
can do either one.
Sure. Okay.
I want in on
Nah, you're good.
dyslexic monkey. If
On
you
a
ever see a
dyslexic
script,
monkey,
yeah, if you ever see that script, I'm the doctor.
I'll keep an eye out for that.
Okay, let's move on.
Real quick, can I just ask, am I the only one that will be like, you know what? I want to change something on my computer, or maybe if I put it in this
I'll be
one, I
right
won't
back.
have that same issue, and then you mess up everything, and you have to spend the next hour trying to undo whatever it was that you did.
Well, is your
That
name
sounds
Neil
like a you
Gaiman?
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to put it somewhere it's not going to go? Are you
Well,
Neil
no,
Gaiman?
because that the HDMI cable, like if it moves a little bit too much, it'll mess up. So I'm like, well, I'll put it in a different one, but that one didn't work at full 4K, 144 hertz. So trying to switch it back, it was a mess.
And that was
But
just a
I'm here now.
cable. That's not even software related.
Yeah, just
You
a
need
cable.
a new HDMI cable?
Yes, it is an HDMI cable. It's an 8K HDMI cable.
I'm saying, do you need a new one? It sounds like the cable
yeah,
or
I
the
think
connection's starting to
I
go.
do need a new one, but it has to be super long because it's going from the PC to the TV.
Well, those
Are you
things
using a
got
splitter
gold in them,
too?
so they're not cheap.
Yeah, I know. What was that script?
Are you using an HDMI splitter as well?
No.
So you're just broadcasting all the information on your PC to a giant big screen TV.
Oh yeah. It's the Neo LED, super fucking cool. LG, is that what it is?
Anyway,
LG is a good model. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Samsung. Yeah.
Matt.
Yes.
Yeah. They actually, you need something that'll help amplify the signal to solve a lot of issues. So like a
That's the only
repeater.
issue I have though.
Okay.
Other than that, I have no problem.
Okay. Well, so you're bad. You have a floppy cable. There's surgery for that, I think.
There's definitely like a stint for it.
So I heard you were talking about dyslexic and how they're all dumb and stuff. Have you heard about the script? Have you
They're
heard?
all dumb and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't
that
think
was a
anyone
great
said that.
summary of.
What a great, what a very distinct.
That was the
summary.
abridged
Exactly how the
version.
conversation went, right?
That was the abridged version. But script. Have you ever heard about the people with the anomalopolis or the the one where they don't have an inner monologue?
Yes, yeah, I've heard of people like that. They have a lot of candor to their speech.
Dude, it's so they're doing a lot of studies now that is actually connected. You could when you have that, you may also have the one where you can't see images.
Oh, like you can't imagine the
Right.
image that you've seen and reflect. Yeah. Well, what's funny is that some people develop that type of setback temporarily if they just haven't seen things or haven't had any reason to imagine imagery for a while. Like, for instance, if I could say, picture an apple. You can all picture an apple in your head, but you actually picture it in multiple different spectrums. So some people picture it vividly as a vivid apple. Some picture it as an understanding of what an apple is, but not with the exact image, but they know what the image is. They recognize it. They can draw it. They can do everything for it. And they can also, but they don't see it as vividly. It's kind of like a foggy dream. Like you almost remember it, but you don't when you wake up. And then there's those that they know what the apple is, but they just cannot picture it in their mind or cannot fabricate an image of an apple in their head at all. But the concept is so abstract in their vision through their mind that they can still recognize it. But if they were to try and translate it vividly, it would never materialize.
And in Indifosier. No, wait.
And then
And yep, that's what I said. That's what
That's
I'm hearing.
That
Say
was
I
like an
heard.
Egyptian
That's what I
god or
heard.
something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I heard. I heard her saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, I think that so if you look at it, if you're building a game, right, and you're building an open world game, you're not every NPC is going to have all the features, right? You got to have just some dumb ones that don't have anything going on. They just do the motions. Think of the world like that, whether you believe in a creator or the Matrix or whatever. You're going to have to populate it with dum-dums, with NPCs that don't actually have anything inner working or don't have a soul. That's those people.
Oh, I don't know what you were
I don't
just
know
talking
about
about.
that.
Wait. You mean Democrats?
Well,
Basically.
let me just say thank you to Anonymous Pipper.
Hey,
So,
Anonymous.
I don't know who sent it on Stream Elements, but $5 said happy birthday. So thank you so much. If you sent it, let me know. That was really nice of you. I appreciate it.
Oh.
Birthday tips are always welcome.
I want to know
so-
how quickly they go to sleep, dude. Because my head, when I'm trying to go to sleep, my head's just running. It takes forever for me to fall asleep.
You need more gummies, dude.
Same.
No, dude. After I almost died, nah, fuck that.
How do you
Take the
almost die
laxative
on
gummies.
So I had a really, really strong gummy, and it wasn't working quick enough. So I was like, you know what? I'll take a one. And that was not
Not
a
usually
good
a
idea.
smart idea. No.
No. And I was trying to get to the restroom or whatever, to the bathroom, and I fell. My girlfriend tried to catch me, she says, but I remember my body. I had my inner self. I had a out of body experience. I could feel myself falling slowly to the ground.
Were you having?
If you try to catch someone, it does count if you get out of their way so that nothing makes them bend in an uncomfortable fashion on the way down.
Yeah, that's what I imagined happened.
All I thought of was trying to have shower sex and you grab the bar and it breaks.
Okay. That's another common.
I mean, that's kind of
I
related.
think culture takes very unrelated topics and then just goes where he wants with it.
I love when he does it too because I'm so confused.
Do you have a list of topics that you want to get to and you just fit them in wherever you can while we're talking?
I think that's what you do, Matt, because we want to bring it back to your dyslexia comment and also the need for helping students with that. That comes down to the fact that sadly, in a lot of places in North America and other Western countries, we have a huge decline in qualifying teachers because there's some people that just don't want to make the technically financial and life-changing sacrifice to be a teacher when there are other opportunities that are a bit more lucrative and beneficial. And that's how we got into the position where we have those teachers that are happy to lobby for Common Core math or like to gossip about their personal lives.
Right.
Because the people that are qualified have better options elsewhere, sadly.
Amen, man.
Wow, that sounds.
COVID.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go, Tina.
COVID was an exit for a lot of those teachers. I work in instructional design, and most of the new people that we've been hiring since about mid 2020 are elementary school teachers who decided they did not want to go back into the classroom after COVID, took some certification courses, and now they're coming in for instructional design. But it's kind of like the programmer who knows the language of a program, but just can't write any algorithms. Where you're skilled to do, but you can't design.
It's what I think. Script, you said a good. There's like certain occupations they get summer off, like teachers. They really don't.
No, they don't.
They should be paid more than like in my state, which is an expensive state to live in. They get paid like $35,000 to start. And it doesn't go up much more unless you take certifications, this and that, and it really
like
never
a job class thing, like what you have in construction. Like if you want to get paid more, you earn another job class that gives you another tier of income.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of the times it's on their own dime.
Yeah.
And it's they should, if you are qualified with it, and you have to have a teaching degree in my state. So that means you at least went a 5th year of college. You should be paid a livable wage so that you can teach my kids and not be like one of the teachers, like, cause I've lucked out. The teachers my kids have had are so involved, they reach out, they make sure our kids are doing well. But I have had teachers that are just there cause they got tenure and they're like, I'm done. Like my science class, we had biology in, I think my sophomore or junior year. And literally by the end of that semester, there was 5 of us in the front row trying to learn. And it was like Lord of the Flies behind us. People were making necklaces out of frogs, dissected frogs. They were like throwing them at one kid, made a keychain, but he literally just couldn't teach to any, he had no control, didn't have a way to tap into those kids. They don't teach them, like, how do you reach the kid who doesn't learn the way, like keep their attention. There's very few teachers that are animated enough to keep your attention once you get older.
And there's a lot of restrictions preventing a teacher from actually doing what's called like the hard love of teaching, which is, oh, you don't want to learn? Well, then this is what's going to happen. You're going to go to either this corner of the class or you're going to go into this other class, like a study hall, where you will be supervised and you are going to fall behind and you are going to fail. And I'm going to see you here next year. And that's going to happen over and over again until you decide to take your head out of your butt and pay attention to what I'm trying to help you learn.
But they can't do that.
Exactly.
I mean,
those things have been taken away.
Teacher raises their voice at a kid. The parents are there. Police might be called. Like, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. You control it. You have to have respect. And there's a lot of kids that learn they don't have to respect them. They have to control. And that's when you lose it.
Well, that also comes down to the fact that we've kind of forgotten the key lesson is that respect is earned, not bestowed. And so there's some people that get certain titles that say, well, because I've earned that title, I demand I am entitled to your respect. It's like, well, no, you earned that entitle and great for you. But if you're going to treat me without any courtesy, then you have failed in your ability to earn my respect and vice versa.
Well, young people in general tend to overestimate the amount of like there's a baseline of respect. They think they're doing a much higher baseline than I give to a random stranger on the street. Like, I'm sorry. No.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, that goes back to the family too, though.
Yes.
Like you need to teach your children the right way to handle things. And these people that my kid does no wrong, they're the detrimental people. Like their children are the ones that grew up in the last 10 years. We've had all these issues where I am a cat.
Why'd you say that to my kid?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I came home from school and I was like, man, the teacher called me a dumb fuck today, my mom would have been like, well, what'd you do that he called you a dumb fuck?
Yeah, my dad, same.
Or they'd be saying, like, why are you behaving like that at school?
Fuck.
Yeah, right. What did you do wrong? Like, I wouldn't tell him because I'd be scared I'd get hit. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what? I'll just be good tomorrow with the teacher. I'll just, let's do that.
I remember going to Catholic school and, you get punished because you have your desk moved up to the front of the classroom and you're like, everybody's watching you and stuff. And our teachers were great because Catholic families, big families. So I had 2 younger sisters and a younger brother all at elementary school at the same time that I was there. And sure enough, like my sister's class would walk by and they'd see and she'd point and the teacher's like, okay, you can move your desk now because your sister's going to go home and tell your mom that you're in the front class. You're going to get your ass beat.
Yeah, you get your ass beat. And that's the way it was.
Well,
So
also, he
yep.
had the advantage of being a made man or made woman.
Made
So-
woman.
Well, there's that too.
Show respect.
That didn't happen until college, though.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, we're going to
Did you
change
always
the
know you wanted to
subject
be
a little bit,
gangsta?
but a Jega Outlaw for $5 saying my late fee. Well, I appreciate that, buddy. I'll take any fee you give me. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. Share it out. Come back when we're done. Comment. It helps with the algorithm. So I had a couple little things to finish, like the political side of it. So they announced that Trump's administration allegedly located between 75,000 and 80,000 of the over 300,000 migrant kids that went missing under Obama's term. They found about 80,000 of them. Thank God.
They must be near adults now. I mean, that's.
I'm just shocked that these kids were found, because I'm not Obama. I'm sorry, Biden, Obama, they're the same to me under Biden's term. So 300,000 kids.
Dirtbags were killed in the pursuit of this.
Oh, I hope so. So since 2020, 300. Oh, I think the number is closer to 340,000 children have gone missing that came into the country and then were released with someone who said, "Yeah, that's my kid." No DNA, nothing. During Trump's term,
that is unacceptable.
They would do a DNA test to make sure the child was related to the person that said it. On Biden's term, they would release the child to whoever they walked over the border with. And these kids would disappear when they were supposed to show up.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. 340,000. So the majority of those poor kids are, sex slaves or dead or sold off,
Or
like
mules. That's the other
The fact that
harvested for their organs. Who knows?
The fact that we had all these military age men in their early 20s bringing like 4 or 5 girls under the age of 12 into the
by
country.
themselves, right? And
it
no,
takes
those
a
are
lot
my
of
kids.
time to make that many kids.
Yeah, it's sickening what they allowed to happen. So that's one of the great things starting to happen now. There has been a bill introduced to switch Dulles International Airport to Donald J. Trump International Airport. Now there will be people
deserve a better airport than Dulles.
Yeah, well, true, but Dulles should be off the ticket. You want to talk about the JFK files? Let's talk about somebody who might have been involved, and that was Dulles. That guy. If people knew that guy's history more, I think they would understand why that name should have been changed years ago.
That and LBJ and a few others.
Yeah, right. LBJ.
But then if anybody's coming across the pond from the Europe side, they're landed in Dulles most likely.
Yeah.
So. Let's put our best foot forward, please.
This guy had a great take. We'll watch that in a few. But then you have here Stephen A. Smith. He put it perfectly. Yeah. And usually, he's been pretty base lately. But listen to how he put it.
He's a classic left liberal guy, but he has a lot of conservative values. But like he's like, he's the type of guy that
he's a classical liberal. That's the thing.
No,
he's a classical liberal.
That's a huge qualifier.
One of the things he's failing to do, and this is something I'm probably going to start talking a little bit more, is calling out the people that preach progressives as frauds because they're preaching regressive stuff. And then there's the people on the other side that are trying to use the word progressive to basically be a catch-all for anything that could be an actual improvement. Right. And saying that we don't want that. And when you try to couch progressive as that's a communist tactic, because what is communism? No growth. Everything is perfectly the same as it was. It's supposed to be quote unquote sustainable, but you cannot improve. You cannot do anything because that improvement comes with wealth, and that wealth goes to bourgeoisie, and we can't have that because we need to be pro-proletariat. So therefore we are against progressivism. So you have to be very careful with regards to the language that's being used, because you want to basically say, oh, we want to do this thing with Common Core math in public schools. That's not progressive. That's regressive, because you're making our kids dumber, and we're going to call you out for that. And that's what classical liberals have to start doing. That's what conservatives have to start doing, because the job of the conservative is to make sure that whatever progress comes forward, it is scrutinized and it is valid, and then it is then protected once it goes into effect. And if they try to abstain from progress that does meet those qualifications, they are being counter-American. They're being counter-human.
Well, this happens on both sides, though. It's not that I go, I don't want this to happen because of this. It's, hey, if you tell me that this will accomplish A, I just want to make sure that B, C, and D don't suck.
Right.
Because
exactly.
Like, it's always like, oh, hey, let's spend $1 million on this because it'll accomplish A. And I'm like, it will also accomplish B, C, and D. And I don't like B, C, or D.
And is that $1 million going to be spent correctly, or is it just a catch-all? It's one of the things I had this debate with.
Could we do it for 100?
Yeah. So that's one of the things. So when I was 16 years old, there was a head of a political party. He wasn't head yet at the time, but his name was Jack Layton. He was head of the New Democratic Party. And he basically had a policy, which is, oh, we'll just give the money, taxpayer dollars, to the programs that need it so that they can be better. But when he was canvassing and he came to my house and my parents weren't home, but I was 16, I opened the door and I thought he was actually a shuttle bus driver to the airport because that's what he looked like, but he was actually a politician. And he basically tried to convince my parents to vote for his party. I said, how can you be certain that the money you're going to allocate to the system that you claim that you're telling me is not working is going to be spent responsibly? And he couldn't come up with an answer for that.
Oh, God.
And it wasn't until other people started asking that question when she then realizes, like, oh yeah, we can't just say we're going to throw money at this. We have to actually scrutinize the policy of the administration, find out where the misspent is being done, plug that up, and then see if there's changes. And if there is changes and they need a little bit of money there, we make sure that we budget for it appropriately. Now, sadly, he died of colon cancer, and everything that he learned over those 4 years was completely washed out. And then the new guy, who's this Jagmeet Singh, who's been head of the party for a few years now, is an evil man.
Yeah, that's scary.
The truth of the government is, if an organization within the government is failing, probably your best chance at bringing them back is making it do more with less.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
And if they can't, then either they're no longer necessary or they need to be rebuilt from the ground up.
Yeah.
But
and
just giving them more money,
right,
9 times out of 10, that makes them fail even harder.
Well, we're going to move right now, Trump, maybe into my more alien-esque areas and lost histories, because we're going to do 2 more things before we leave tonight. CGH just sent this to me just in. Trump, President Putin and I and China will begin the denuclearization of our countries. So let's just listen to hear what he had to say.
We'd like to see denuclearization. In fact, with President Putin prior to an election result, which was frankly ridiculous, we were talking about denuclearization of our 2 countries, and China would have come along. China has a much smaller right now nuclear armament than us, or field than us, but they're going to be catching it at some point over the next 4 or 5 years. And I will tell you that President Putin really liked the idea of cutting way back on nuclear. And I think the rest of the world, we would have gotten them to follow. And China would have come along too. China also liked it. Tremendous amounts of money are being spent on nuclear. We'd like to see.
Okay, so now that's not the big part right there. So, and Tommy's over in the X chat for CGA Jacksing. I just sent the link. If you scroll down, Painted Naked, who I don't follow, so I don't know who this person is. Only 55 following, but I like what I had to say.
You don't follow Painted Naked?
Yeah, I want to now because they said allegedly. Pallades ET visited us and offered to share tech if we denuclearized. We told them to shove it. Then gray reptilian drones gave us more tech to murder each other, and monitoring tech leading to our smartphone techno collars looking to Phil Schneider. Now,
I know exactly what this is. The 1953 Grayada treaty. I have a song that I wrote in AI. Seriously, of this exact story. Yeah, the Nordics came down and they were like, "Yo, give it this. This is verbatim. Yo, give up your shit. And we're like, verbatim. Cool. What do we get? Like, well, we're not going to give you any technology. You can't be trusted. So we went, but this is America. Why don't you go?
Of course.
Yeah, so I'm like, why don't you go preach to those pussies in France? That's how I
Eisenhower did want to do it, but he was overturned.
Yeah.
The powers of be, the deep state said, screw that. We are going to keep building weapons of mass destruction. And then the I don't call them gray reptilians, just the reptilians.
Grays, it was the Grays, not the reptilians.
Oh, there's Grays and reptilians.
Reptilians are different than the Grays, man.
Yes, they are.
I don't know who that was that side, but you better buckle up, kitten. So the Grays are the one that, because it's called the Grayada Treaty, right? They did the treaty with the Grays. The Grays were allowed to take so many people during a some type of time frame, but they overdid
and
it.
Stephen thinks I'm one of them.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's true. Didn't we go over this on a Aluminum Spork
sure
once?
I have before.
We got to get the paperwork out again. We'll have to do that one again.
You got to go back to the lore and make sure everybody's still tracking.
You got to.
This sounds crazy, and I'm not saying you guys are crazy, but it all does sound crazy.
Just like the government would kill their own president crazy, right there, Slender Dad?
That seems much more palatable and believable to me.
I don't know. Take a look at France before Napoleon became emperor. They killed a lot of their own people.
Yeah, they did.
But the question I have is,
people who were killing the people.
Yeah. Well, the question I have is, what is the official narrative of denuclearization? Because I put it to you this way: I'm not a big fan of nuclear weapons, but I understand their purpose and use as a deterrent from any type of bigger attack. I also think that a lot of countries have built far more nuclear weapons than are actually required of anything. Unless they built them at that number to sort of stave off a possible third-party invasion, which be an invasion of another planet to coming to us. Like that's the only reason I would see that many. So I'd be very apprehensive, especially if any alien species coming to us and says, "Hey, if you denuclearize, we'll give you some technology." I'd be like, part of me sees an ulterior motive here, where it's like, you want us to disarm ourselves so that you can give us technology. Isn't that what happened in Australia recently, and what they're trying to do in Canada? And they're not being very successful, because fortunately we had some senators that changed the wording in some of the laws regarding that, so that you could still have rifles and other types of long-ranged weapons for personal.
You can't have handguns though, right?
You can with a specialized permit, and the permit is actually not too difficult to get unless you have a notoriously bad criminal background or mental illness. So my girlfriend just got a new hunting rifle recently, and she showed it to me with a very threatening grin. But
her more and more.
Oh yeah. But I mean, listen, if they're not going to build any more nuclear weapons, that's fine. But if they're going to maintain the upkeep of them, I would be very much pro of that, because it's important to make sure that they don't degenerate over time.
Yeah. Fully denuclearized, we're going to find out that they were cookbooks.
Well, don't forget they were cookbooks. Don't forget, we've lost, I think, 7. And during the fall of the Soviet Union, they lost quite a few nuclear warheads.
Oh, there's so many floating around unaccounted for from some from the United States and a lot from Russia or Soviet
maintenance and their upkeep is so damned expensive. Like I would question whether or not
they're all running off mainframe computers too at this point.
So. Unhackable computers these days, actually. Thank God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I looked up my notes on the treaty.
Let's have it. Let's have the treaty.
Right, so these Nordic aliens told government officials that the other guys are real assholes, the Greys, and are here with an outer space Ponzi scam. I took a little liberty with some of this. They offered.
That's not word for word.
This is what I wrote from my research.
You're paraphrasing.
Yeah, I took a little. They offered to help
an
deal
outer
with those.
Space Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Nice.
They offered,
well done.
They offered to help deal with the other guys and to give us spiritual development. If sounding like cosmic hippies wasn't enough, they had conditions to be met before they would be our planetary guru. The conditions were to dismantle and destroy our nuclear weapons, stop killing each other, stop polluting our planet, stop graping Earth's natural resources, and learn to live in harmony.
Stop having fun. Jeez.
Well, what we did is we said, screw that, and we doubled down.
Also, they wouldn't be sharing any technology because, according to them, we couldn't be trusted not to destroy each other with it. Apparently, these star huggers, get it, did absolutely, instead of tree huggers, did absolutely no research on their potential buyer, because this was 1950s and there couldn't be 4 things we loved more than our bombs, our smog, cutting down the rainforest, and general disdain for our fellow man.
Cigarettes.
Yep.
Cigarettes. They were
right, man. I mean, if you didn't, whether you liked him or not, I kind of admired him a little bit. He was right with regards to military industrial complex and trying to rein that in.
Big time.
But again, I would say that part of McCarthy's hunt for communists allowed for the military industrial complex to embolden itself, because it's like, we got to fight these commies. And if McCarthy would exercise a little bit more due diligence into the people he accused, instead of just taking the whole trust me bro word that he did for a lot of people out.
Yeah, like a witch hunt.
A lot of lies, but also caught a lot of communists. But you can't ignore that.
Right.
You probably wouldn't have had such private interests being able to profit off of basically expanding all sorts of weapons, and then at the same time building the weapons that they knew would never be used or deployed, and then at the same time hampering all the brave men and women who have volunteered for the Army. Because take a look at the United States track records when it comes to actual wars since the Second World War, since the Korean War. It hasn't.
We're
been
not
very
allowed
positive.
to win wars anymore.
Well, we haven't had a real war since World War II.
Well, Vietnam would qualify as a.
I don't think we declared war.
No,
it was a
more
campaign.
It was a campaign, but it was also almost a 20-year campaign.
Oh yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. It was a war.
Yeah,
but not officially.
Well,
I think communism essentially.
Yeah.
I think that it correlates with the attention span being less, and like you know what I mean? That's why we're not winning anymore, because we don't have the America won't pay attention long enough.
There was kids that didn't even know we were still at war in Afghanistan, like before Biden, like they didn't even realize we were still at war.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, didn't we like win that? Like back when Bush? No, we didn't.
No. Even the Gulf War I that Bush did, it was 4 days. It was basically a hit and run thing, and granted successful, but it didn't really have any good impact. And you know what? I look at it, I equate it as this, and actually a general in the U.S. Army told me this many years ago. He said, the brave men and women of the Army are great. However, the best way to equate what their skills are versus what they can do is like a person who doesn't know how to driving the Batmobile. They have all the tools necessary for them, all the protection they could possibly need. But we're failing them on the training aspect. We're failing with regards to strategy. We're failing on deployment. We can give them all the toys they want, but take a look at Afghanistan. You're going up against terrorist cells that don't have proper military training, and
we did train them in the 80s.
You did true, but remember, a lot has occurred and increased since the 80s.
No,
so
I know.
Their guerrilla warfare tactics are playing a very different type of field that, for some strange reason, the United States military doesn't seem to be doing a very good job by their soldiers training them how to combat that.
Well, let's not forget, during Obama's term, you literally could not defend yourself. So my buddy was over there. They would be setting up mortars, the enemy, on egg timers outside of their gates of the base, and they would just have to sit there and watch. And when the guys left, they would send a bomb squad out and hope, it doesn't fire off before they got there. Like they weren't allowed. They were assaulted with rocks.
They were prohibited from engagement. Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
I remember that.
When was
Even
this?
being shot out, they had to get like an okay.
When was
2010, I think.
He was in 2012.
Oh, okay, because I was there in 06, and while
No,
you didn't have those orders in 06.
no,
No.
not to that. That's why I'm like, what the fuck?
But that wasn't
No,
that wasn't Obama. Obama was 09 to 16.
Yeah, I was just asking when he was.
So
there
I said
because-
Obama. Let's show off again. Thank you for your service. How many times do I have to say it?
I didn't even. What all I was going to say was I was actually going
Thanks
to say
for the
that
member.
even when I was there, the drones weren't there looking for bad guys. They were there to make sure that we weren't fucking up, and if we did, they would have the footage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
dude. It's just it's ridiculous. And then even after that, with Biden and how like the armed forces, like it's just some of the videos you see. It's just like, let's teach you about DEI and the levels that we allowed people to get in. Like, okay, can you at least do one pull-up? Just hang there. If you can hang there, I'll let you in.
That was a great equalizer with the military, is that, okay, if you were underweight and had an IQ of 89 or higher, you got in. But now it's like, let's get rid of that weight requirement.
Yeah.
And it's now you just open it up
I'm
wider, but you're also weakening your military. That happened up here in Canada. We have amazing special forces. I mean, the violence that Canadian soldiers can dish out. I would just say, look up some of the the engagements and skirmishes that Canadian soldiers did in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and those that volunteered to help in Vietnam. And you will be chilled to the bone with how vicious they could. There's a reason one of our chants was take no prisoners. And we didn't. And then we got into a lot of trouble afterwards. Once
there was a lot of Canadians in the South Pacific, right?
Well, they fought in the South Pacific.
Yeah, I just remember there was a lot that fought. Like they were just stories from American soldiers talking about them, like Canadian soldiers, just lunatics, just going for it. Like,
yeah, because
brutal.
You give us permission to let loose, we will go nuts.
Yeah,
which is also kind of why the country is very fortunate not to have like a very pro-gun culture, because we would actually start exterminating people that pissed us off on a whim. Like if you think that the gun crime horrible in the United States today, I'm telling you right now, you give that same authority or a cultural quote unquote permission to Canadians, our population would be going from like 40 million down to 15 within a week.
Well, I can understand that with your governance recently.
Yeah.
Oh, the government would be the first to go.
Let me say thank you to Zax for being a member again. Thank you for sponsoring the channel. And thank you to Brian McCann for sponsoring the channel again. He says, everyone, Scotty doesn't know that Fiona, what was she doing?
That's the song, which I wrote the lyrics to that music years ago.
Yeah, I totally have it.
For your song show.
It's still on X. I got it.
I feel like script
now that AI can do it. I'm gonna totally have it done.
I feel like script really does, take good care of you, Scott. And you just take it for granted. You take it for granted.
Script has been one of the best to my channel.
All right.
Wish more people were like that.
Dude, and
but not the best.
Wait, why did
I was on a
I thought you were gonna say
Wednesday
something
show until you canceled it.
Why did you embiggen me, Scott?
Because I thought you were gonna respond.
To what exactly?
I don't know. Anyways, check out this map, everybody.
Wait, look at the chat. You got another thing at the bottom.
Hey, that looks like Prince of Persia.
Oh, hello. Happy birthday, Scott. Thank you, Dr. Anonymous colleague.
You know what? I feel like Dr. Anonymous colleague does not get enough
every time
compliments.
The doctor's out here, I make sure the doctor gets taken care of. Excuse me for a second.
All right. Why does that look like Prince of Persia? Why this is like the rejected map of World of Warcraft.
I'll tell you what this is. I'll tell you in a minute.
I bet you will.
This is a map from 1607. The person said on X. This map goes.
Well, if it's on the internet,
it's right. It's true. Just
everything's on the internet.
1607. Okay, you got America over here. You guys can't see my damn cursor. Okay, so America to your left, South America. You got Africa, Europe, Asia, and then the Kingdom of Antarctica,
which looks massive here.
It is.
So he said this is 1607. So this would be a couple years before Henry Hudson found Hudson's Bay and then Hudson's River in New York. So
yes, 16. Wow, that was pretty good.
But I was eating.
So the Kingdom of Antarctica from a 1607 map, probably dated older maps they used, just like the Perry Reese map. And it's on the internet, so it has to be true. So it does show the rivers and some of the that we did not know of until the 1950s. So if this is a real map from 1607, which the person on the internet said, it's proven Antarctica was once a continent that you can, had, beautiful tropical weather, and then boom, ice age hit.
Yeah,
boom.
They built a wall. They built a giant ice wall. You never believe how beautiful the wall was.
Well, it's not necessarily an ice age. So there's something called like the it's called a shift. It's so in about 13,000 years, the seasons will reverse. So
the
this
polar
time of the year,
shift thing.
Yes, yes, Tina, exactly. So
north will be south,
period
south
of
will be
time will
north.
be summer in 13,000 years from now. And also there's a possibility that will also affect the Arctic region, but that only occurs if the Earth tilts on its axis just a little bit more, because again, the reason the Arctic is so cold is because it's the furthest point away from the sun.
Right. And let's not forget precession. The Earth is on a wobble.
Yep.
So it has different seasons. They can say 12 different seasons. They do the zodiac. We are entering Aquarius right now, and that is what, a 3,700? No, that's longer than that. Every 72 years, I believe we move into another a degree. So,
and it shifts back at another 70. It's vacillates back and forth, which is why our orbital is it's not 100% consistent. That's why the calendar year is 365.2425, give or take, because it changes. But that reason is why every 13 to 26,000 years, winter in the northern hemisphere will become summer, and summer in the southern hemisphere become winter, because we're not on that same path. Well, like, we're on the same path, but the speed has altered enough ever so slightly that's how many thousands of years have to pass before the seasons change.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
yeah, it really is. But you do have, I can't, again, here comes my I can't spell it.
Unfortunately, we can't see your cursor.
Yeah, I know. I just spell perception, or not perception, procession.
Procession.
Yeah.
Script, why don't you take that one? I'll give the next word to spell.
Procession or procession?
No, they call it, oh God, it's the wobbling of the earth, how it rotates, and they call it the procession. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Come on, people. Someone in the chat, come on, Adega or someone, you know what I'm
it's called
trying to
the
say.
precession, the axis precession, right?
The precession.
Yeah, precession. Yeah.
Precession.
Yeah, the slow movement of the axis of a spinning body around a torque, acting as to change the direction of the first axis.
Okay, I still spelled it wrong. That's fine. That's why you have Google. All right, so I'm just trying to find out the amount of time it takes to do a full rotation, and I don't see it there. All right, you keep talking, guys. I'll find it. Keep talking. Talk about whatever. Antarctica.
Precession takes about 26,000 years.
26,000. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I mean, I don't know how that's even possible. We haven't had it happen yet, right? Because the Earth is only 6,000 years old. So are we talking about the first 26?
We've actually had it a number of times. That's why we know it's 26,000 years.
Which is crazy that the ancients learned about it, like the Greeks and the South American
and some of the Sumerians, Babylonians, the Mayans.
They
all figured it out. Now the funny thing is that they figured out the parts of the math, but the applications of it were still foreign to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I was gonna say, so I have found a new guy that I'm gonna start mad fapping. He's a flat earther. And we were watching one of his videos the other night with Shags, and the dude, he's like, listen, so because my whole thing is, why don't you just sail west until you hit a wall or you hit another country? Like, you're on the other side. And he's like, no, because see, you're just gonna do a circle if you keep heading west. So it's not even possible. That was his reasoning.
Wait,
is that you had
a circle as if like an orbit?
Just like, yeah, you're out in the ocean, right? You're gonna follow west, but because of it's being a flat like Earth, you're just gonna keep following west, and west is gonna change as it moves around the center. So you're never gonna get to the edge because you're going west. And I'm just like, then just go straight and don't move.
But you need gravity in order for that to happen, and the whole reason why we're
they don't believe in gravity.
Because of gravity.
No, it's the firmament. Anyway, this guy, yeah, it's bananas. I'm excited.
That's insane. I like it though. Yeah, so it takes approximately 26,000 years. Similar to the precession of the spinning top, the Earth's axis traces out a pair of cones joined at their apex. So, yeah, take that. The precession, they call it, it's known as the precession of the equinoxes.
Yes. One of the fun facts about like that North Pole area is that when you're in the equinox, you get longer nights and shorter days.
Yeah, that is nuts. Because like someone like whoa, Cat, what did you just do? Knocked over everything. That's fine. But no, you have people that live, friends of mine in Alaska, that it's 4 hours of darkness at certain times of the year, and then certain times it's 4 hours of light, or it's like dawn and dusk kind of setting.
Yep.
That's how do you live through that? I like when it's always dark is something that I always found like maybe humans aren't supposed to be that high up on the planet.
Well, I think that's why if you live in Alaska, the state pays you to live there, right? Doesn't it give you?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm moving.
No, you don't want to move there. Are you kidding?
We'll go hollow earth hunting next week.
Well, I'm hoping that in the next couple of years, a very ancient, ancient in the sense of like a couple hundred years, there was a plan to actually have a rail system that connects Alaska to Canada to the United States directly, like a north-south rail system, so that you can actually travel, across the country and to that state a lot easier than current day stuff.
That would be kind of cool.
And considering the fact that Alaska is a great resource for oil, and the fact that our alliance with the United States allows us to protect the Northwest Passage, so that Russia can't get in there and try and steal all the oil. Yep. I think rail would be very helpful. In addition, that would also guide for a new pipeline to be more energy independent, and it'd be very, very beneficial for us there. Because
hey, I'm with you, Script. I was looking at the petroleum plans that would help from Canada or through Canada, and I was like, these are good ideas.
Now, if only you guys got your refineries in order so that you could actually properly process the type of oil that you can drill locally. Well, we need all of ours, but it'd still be useful.
Yeah, but that comes with the idea that because of the federal bologna sausage under the EPA and other administrative crap that we're trying to get rid of in this country, we wouldn't have the rules in place that would allow us to build refineries again.
Or upgrade the ones you have,
Yeah, well, I would rather build more refineries. I mean, there's always going to be a use for the kinds of oil that we're able to process now. Lubricants are very important. I would rather use actual lubricant than seed oils because, we know what the byproducts of all that crap is too. And coal tar, which you consume in the processed foods that you have here in the States. Not in Canada, though. Yeah. Because you actually believe in like not feeding people byproducts of the industrial age.
Not for much longer.
Yeah, we're a big fan of not eating petroleum stuff. However, we're very excited that you guys are going to get rid of that soon. One thing that I am terrified of is I'm worried about the Department of Government Efficiency, because how can we be so certain that they are not going to just become the very thing they're trying to fight against?
Because they have an expiration date.
Yeah, so did income tax.
I understand. But here's an interesting thing. The current president is a promises made, promises kept kind of guy. So I kind of feel like we have a better chance than we may have ever had for something to actually be exterminated at the end of its dates.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to see that in 2028, you have Elon announcing, well, we did it. We do not longer need the Department of Government Efficiency. It is now for officially the most efficient thing we can do now is to shutter it. And that is the last thing.
That should be.
But I believe, this is the other thing is like, these are reliable people who say things and do them. So, I mean, that's leadership, right? Yep. You say a thing, you do a thing. And, I feel
we just hope that they do it. That we just hope that we get to that point. And 2028 we'll all see. And I'm optimistic myself, but we're gonna have to end this sucker. And I know you have a show coming up, Script. So
no, I finished my show. I'm good.
So it's before.
Yeah, I start at 7. And
okay, good to know. Good to know.
Which is great. Why this worked out well.
His ass, you laid it right on top of his head.
Right on there.
You dropped a show on us.
It was like you're working on a disabled person's head as a nurse.
George Washington. Yeah, George Washington refused to be king. Yeah, I'm like, this is leadership. And here's the weirdest thing.
That all the time.
Right. Technically, Trump could be president for 10 years.
Well, that feels like we would get a whole nother hour, so we can.
Yeah, I'm very confused
on that one.
Let's jump into that.
We'll talk about that another time. But just remember, teach your kids Washington.
We talked about like dumb crap, like lizards versus grays.
Right. It was only a little bit. We spent a lot of time on education.
Who the hell let that guy in?
I mean, you're more than welcome to go and do another dream to talk about that.
There you go. So, hey, everybody, welcome to this dump. What a gay name. It wishes it was gay, actually.
This
All
isn't,
right,
this
everybody.
isn't actually the dump, by the way.
Yeah, it used to be. I can't
Edco-
run that very long because they copyright me now.
Wait, what?
Edwin. Yeah,
Edco.
if that runs, they try to hit me. It's so
Why?
stupid. They hit me for everything now.
That's inside of something. What's the magical
Once they're
term?
monetized, they can take your
Fair
money.
use.
They take it all, buddy. They take it all. So
Hmm.
we're going to end this show. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday
Whatever.
stream. I appreciate everybody. Culture, thank you for being here and being so
Sure.
enthusiastic right now.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Matt.
It is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Hey man, I was in a different window. I couldn't come over here to unmute. Listen,
What?
We hired a new head coach last night, 10 p.m. Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah.
Okay. That could be another hour. So thanks everybody for being here.
Oh, you're gonna do me like Culture?
Slender, Bad Takes, and Script. I love you guys. Culture and Mad, love you guys too. To the chat, you guys rule. We will see you next week for another Aluminum Spork, maybe a Hollow Earth. I don't know. But we will be getting back into A Song of Ice and Fire and other fantasy topics on Tuesday night. So be there around 7:30 or 8. We'll figure that one out when we get there. Have a good night, everybody.
Aluminum
Spork.
It's a fun.
Not as much.
AI hates me. Thank you, Bride.
Did you do your new Did you do your new intro where you're the best utensil themed channel on any platform?
I did say it. Good night, everybody.